Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between MMA and Firecake on Ruins of Seras. In the bottom right or top right of Ruins of Seras, we have the blue Zerg player. From Euronix Gaming, it is Firecake. And in the top left of Ruins of Seras, formerly of Team Acer, it is MMA, our red Terran player. MMA very sadly did retire from StarCraft 2 just a couple of weeks ago now. When was it? December 21st or so? By the time this posts, I think that will be a few days into the past. But anyway, MMA, just a pillar of Terran players for a long time in StarCraft 2. Remember watching him back in Wings of Liberty. Always gave good games to whoever he played, whoever was casting. And I really just appreciate his contributions to the society and to the gaming community, and really sad to see him go. Firecake, meanwhile, is a French Zerg player, one of the Zerg hopes, Zerg foreign hopes these days. Again, very strong indeed. Has had a couple hard losses here on my channel recently, but has still showed well, has acquitted himself well with good strategies, good micro and good macro, and everything you need to see from a player that deserves a label as professional StarCraft 2 guy or girl. Anyway, looks like a Reaper expand coming up from MMA, very standard opening against Zerg. However, he has not scouted, and so on this map what I've seen is sometimes the Terran players will go for that Reaper expand, but the Reapers, if you spawn here, will go here, and finally go up to the Zerg base way later than it originally was intended to, and he is sending an SCV out, so that's going to help him quite a bit. And if he actually sees this Overlord and sees the direction in which it is coming from, yes, that cannot have been an accident. MMA sending the SCV to where the Overlord would be if this is where Firecake spawned, and now he knows exactly where the Zerg player is. Meanwhile, Zerg did go 3 hatch before pool. Oh, Firecake, you are so brave, going 3 hatch before pool into Extractor, into spawning pool. So again, I think, yeah, it was 3 hatch, then Extractor, then pool. So the pool came very late indeed, and here comes this Reaper, knowing exactly where those juicy drones are. There will not be any queens or lings to help within the next couple minutes at the very earliest here, and Firecake is in a bit of trouble. He's going to have to fend using drones, which is never a happy proposition. Meanwhile, MMA is making a factory back at home and a command center, and here we go. The drones are trying to save their own lives, but losing one of the drones was before it could make itself into an Extractor, taking a couple hits actually. And another drone dies before it can make itself into an Extractor. 2 drones have died. Here, the Reaper throwing down KD8 charges. No, not really needing to do so. And 2 drones turning themselves into Extractors to save their own lives, moving up into the main base. 6 lings are in production, as well as speed and a queen. KD8 charge knocking a few of the drones back. 2 or 3 here. The lings on creep, though, trying to get a surround on the Reaper. Couldn't quite do it. Going to force it away, however. The Reaper is down to sub 50% health. And the lings popped out. So nicely done by the Reaper, but the 3 bases are up and running for Firecake. I'm not sure that MMA actually knows about that base. He does not know about it. He really should scout it there, but that's okay. Queen shows up, injects immediately. This Queen as well, doing the injector Rooney thing. Back in the Terran base, Hellions in production, a starport on the way. Not too surprising at all from a player of MMA's caliber. Double refinery is here, throwing down a mule. All the standard stuff we do like to see from our Terran players on this channel. Roach Warren from Firecake, morphing that in right inside his main base, right next to a spawning pool. Tries to keep his tech structures right next to each other, which I guess that makes sense in a certain state of mind. Queen here, I think Creep Tumor perhaps, 25 energy, and no, gonna inject instead. Choosing to get that production instead of the creep spread, which is a decision I can definitely respect here. 30 to 35 harvesters. The drone count is really starting to kick up right now. We'll see a big swell of drones here in just a minute. There are 8 lings in production. Roach Warren just about to finish speed, and now done on these lings, holding the Xel'Naga Watchtower and the Hellions, and a single Reaper. I think that's the one from before. It is, with the 2 kills, just kind of bouncing back and forth here on this ramp, not choosing to be very aggressive because they're waiting for the medevac. All right, so medevac with 4 Marines heading out. The Hellions taking a slightly different path here. Lings with the scan, with the Xel'Naga Watchtower, able to see exactly what is coming here, and going to try to kill this Reaper. They do get a surround on the Reaper. They kill it. The Hellions choosing to come back and not actually go for the lings. Instead, the lings going for a counterattack here. Going to try to kill a bunch of stuff here while the Hellions are dealt with by roaches, and Queens transferring into Hellbats, making them a lot better against roaches. Meanwhile, the lings are absolutely laying waste to this natural base here, killing a bunch of workers, killing an orbital command, But the Hellbats, especially with the medevac support roasting through these roaches, they're trying to stutter step micro, bring the wounded ones to the back, but not quite able to do it. More roaches coming to the backside do take out all of the Marines. All the Hellbats look like they're going to get cleaned up as well. However, dropping into the main base here, forcing a full evacuation of all of these drones. The Lings did get cleaned up at this base, but not after SCVs were 10 SCVs were killed. And have we stabilized here? No. Liberator comes in. Queen trying to stab at its face. MMA did not know this base was here, did not intentionally fly underneath that Queen. Queen trying to find a sweet spot where it can attack. And no, it thought that was safe, but it wasn't. Took a shot. Ended up not killing it, though. Hellbats here again, forcing all the workers to retreat from this main. Lings trying to get into the main base here. Not able to do it. However, roaches trying to force a cancel on this bunker. Does not want it to finish. It does end up finishing. However, these Hellbats getting stabbed to death by Queens, picking up, moving on out. The Liberator locking down all mining at this base. The roaches and Lings force a liftoff, however, on the second for MMA. Roaches taking shots from a single tank on the high ground, and Firecake says enough is enough. That'll do, pig. Hellbats with 6 kills and 3 kills each. The Queen's trying to kill this Liberator. The Lings try to get a surround on the Hellbats, and they do manage to get almost a surround on one. And the Hellbats do end up falling. Liberator here with 8 kills, very low on hit points, moving back into an aggressive position here as Firecake. He is trying to make sure this orbital command does not land, and he's not going to be able to get there in time. If he sent the Speedlings, he might be able to, but they are sticking with the roaches for now. More drones in production for Firecake, 35 to 32 harvesters. This base, if it dies, is big trouble for MMA right now. The corrosive bile does not quite bring it into the red. It is, however, orange. Flying tank trying to do what it can to defend against this incursion from roaches, ravagers, and Lings. And yep, picking up exactly as necessary. Good micro here from MMA. Gonna actually kill this command center. No, repairing it. Trying to keep it alive. The Lings are trying to kill the SCVs that are repairing it there. They're roaches and ravagers coming right on in, trying to kill this tank, but the flying tank ability from MMA is just a little bit too much right now. Pinning down a lot of these units on the ground. This orbital command is burning. Corrosive bile being thrown down, trying to be dodged by the orbital command. Does manage to do it. However, it is still a burning. Can MMA save this? I do not know. Liberator is now Overlord hunting. Something that it can do. Corrosive bile is being thrown down, and the orbital command is burning, but is being repaired by an SCV that is being healed by a medevac. A nice symmetry there. MMA barely manages to save his second base, which would have been an absolute disaster for him. But now with the mules, his income is looking great, back up to about 1,000 or so that he needs, only on 28 harvesters. But again, mules can account for a pretty solid worker discrepancy here. And Firecake is not out of the woods yet. Look at this worker count, though. Man, he was droning up hard behind that attack. Now up to 44 total. A Spore Crawler is building here, and nope, Liberator gets another kill. This is a new Liberator. I wonder if the other one ended up dead. I do not know. Either way, going to try to kill these drones, mining the Vespine gas, being pretty successful at it. Whap, up to 4 kills already. Spore Crawler is going to move in to a position to try to kill up with the Liberator. A little bit too smart for that. Backs on out. Ling's checking for proxy stuff or ninja expansions. I don't know what that is. Maybe Firecake was worried because he forced a liftoff here, and MMA still had enough to come down from the main base and kill him. Maybe he was worried about there being a ninja expand. Overlord placement, fantastic from Firecake, coming in with the Liberator and a Marine count here. Corrosive bile does take down the Liberator. Ling's forcing a liftoff of all those Marines. A couple of them do end up dead anyway. Glial Reconstitution on the way for Firecake. 10 drones in production. Combat Shield. Stim Pack. +1/+1 for the bio units for MMA. APM 350 for MMA. 282 right now for Firecake. Resources lost tab as we follow this medevac. 3,400 minerals and 450 gas lost for Terran. 3,900 minerals, 500 gas lost for Zerg. 25 and 15 workers respectively, with MMA taking the lead that way. A couple shots from the Spore Crawler do bring that medevac down. Third base being landed by MMA. Tank splashing to death. The Ling that was trying to prevent that from happening. Queens here trying to snipe down that medevac. Corrosive bile being thrown down, not hitting anything. Ably dodged by MMA, as one would expect. But again, it is 3 base for Firecake. He needs to take a 4th somewhere. There it is. Going to take a 4th right here. Excellent decision. Creep spread looking A-OK for Firecake. And a Spire on the way for our Zerg player. Makes a lot of sense to my mind. Queen could throw down an inject if she had a mind too. Spore crawlers are up. Static defense, the way of things right now to deal with those liberators. Roaches here without a spore crawler, actually. Surprising choice. Queen could probably throw down yet another inject. Lings running around making sure there's not a base on up here. There is not, and the single Marine ends up falling in the face of those Lings. Another small Ling attack. Counterattack trying to come in, but I feel like those siege tanks are going to make short work of them. Medevac and Marines holding this down like a watchtower. Splash, 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 and splash. Actually killing an SCV with a splash damage. Siege tank up to 22 kills. It is a commander. Should be very, very, very proud of that. 10 mutas on the way. +1 flyer attack coming up as well. Infantry weapons level 1 and infantry armor level 1 just about to finish. Mutas flying around trying to see what they can see, or can they kill these Marines? A premature stim there by MMA. Firecake does not want to engage and instead flies out to where he can go as well. Big group of Marines. +1/+1 again on these guys. Very, very strong against these mutas with no upgrades. And the mutas are forced on to retreat, as is tradition. Mutas just trying to bounce around, trying to see what they can see. Flying on in, gonna kill a single liberator? No. Gonna kill a tank? No. Gonna do a pretty good scout? Yes. Gonna fly into the main base, abusing the fact that they can fly. Single missile turret here. Can it get sniped down? Firecake is not even going to try. Just trying to kill some SCVs, up to 3 now, allowing his Mutalisks to regenerate their health. When they're out of combat, they regenerate life faster than most Zerg units. You'll notice this guy right on here. 4950. Oh, he was in combat though, however. So their tissue regeneration not really kicking in right now. However, still managing to go up. So nice job, mutas. Flying around, just being annoying. Trying to keep MMA inside his base while this 4th gets established. It is up. Worker count 53 to 49 right now. MMA really doing a great job economically. And what's the composition that Firecake is going for? He's got roaches, +1 carapace, and +1 missile attack being researched, +1 flyer attack. The mutas, again, do manage to pick off a single liberator. Has he lost a muta yet? Yes, he's lost a single muta, but he's been pretty careful with these guys considering how aggressive he's been. Drop heading on up. Overlord scouts that immediately. What's the response going to be from Firecake? The answer is mutas are coming home. A bunch of Lings coming out as well, and good positioning here by the Marines. However, can't pick up and land here because the Marines the Zerglings are ready for you. MMA landing on the low ground to snipe down those Lings from the low ground to the high ground. Excellent, excellent choice. Roaches cleaning everything up. The mutas do take down the medevac. Missile attack level 1 and carapace just about to finish in about 5 seconds or so, but here comes a big push from MMA. He has flying tanks. He has Marines. He has Marauders. Are there any upgrades on these tanks? There are not, but I'm not sure if that's necessary. The armor's going to help a lot here from Firecake, though. Can he do this? He has the creep spread advantage. MMA can't really push onto this creep too far until he kills these creep tumors. And coming in with the concave, roaches from the bottom side. Roaches and Ravagers from the top side doing an excellent, excellent job just killing everything. Corrosive Biles in here as well. Tank on the high ground trying to splash as much as we can, but Firecake's army looks way, way too big to make this happen here. Muta's trying to fly in and kill what they can, but unfortunately Marines just massacring them wherever they happen to go. Ravagers, more Corrosive Bile being thrown down, killing tanks. 2 tanks falling there on the top. Ravagers sniping down 1 more tank there. A small group of Marines is here. Is enough to kill these Ravagers? It looks like it might be. The Ravagers are under full retreat from, again, this small group of Marines and Marauders. They are +2/+2. Very strong. Firecake looks like he won the day there, however, did lose a lot of units, including a smaller group of Ravagers that are just trying to waddle on their way home. Mutas flying around. How many mutas are left on the field? A total number of 2. So it looks like he stopped the muta production. Roaches, Ravagers trying to pick up reinforcements. Exactly what you need to do against ZVT. Find where those reinforcements are. Send a small hit squad to try to kill them, so the Terran Bio Ball does not get too big. And just kind of dancing around. Another drop for MMA heading on out. Is there anything to defend against it here? I do not know. Vehicle weapons, level 1 just about to finish for MMA. And that's going to help a lot with those tanks. Coming in here once again, boosting in and dropping all of these Marines with the +2/+2 attack and the stim. Roaches are on the way, but are there enough to kill these guys? I don't know. A full evacuation of the drones is met with roaches popping out, forced to retreat again. Can this hatchery be saved? Firecake is going to try and do it here, and yes, he does manage to save it. Can't really land up here because of the roaches that are ready for that. Landing on the low ground might be something he does. No, MMA sneaks around, finds a quiet spot here. But again, there are just too many roaches. Picks up, runs again. Fungal bile does not happen because there's no fungal. And the Medivacs can easily dodge the corrosive bile abilities there. Trying to land down here, but Firecake is ready for it. Comes right on in and forces another pickup and lift off. The Mulisks are chasing it down, but they're just a little bit too slow with the boost to catch, or for them to catch up with the Medivacs that do have the boost ability. More Marines. Here for MMA, stimming in once again. Roaches are ready though, so man, Firecake has pretty good answers to everything that MMA is trying to do. He has lost 20 drones, which is pretty big, but I think most of those were in that early on attack. I don't think he lost most of those drones in subsequent follow-up attacks, but so far so good for our French player. Another base being landed by MMA. Roaches and Ravagers. Again, 2 mutas here. I don't think it's enough. Tanks with +1 attack do 28 damage versus armored when they're not in siege mode. Is he just retreating? Is he just giving up on this base? What? Why is he... He does. He just essentially completely gives up on that third. Another drop back here. These guys are still causing trouble. Small group of Roaches and Ravagers go back to deal with that. The big part of the army comes this way. And Firecake says, alright, if you're going to give me this base, I suppose I'll kill your supply depots and your workers? Feels weird, but alright. This hatchery does actually fall to this continued pressure. And MMA, this is why you keep your units alive. You can use them later. The bulk of the army dancing back and forth, not quite sure what they want to do. Have they cleaned up this attack? They have not. He thought he had, but he had not. More Roaches and Ravagers flying on in. He's got to make mutas or corruptors to deal with that medevac. It's going to absolutely destroy him here. Some group of Marines and Marauders heading over. Great concave here from Firecake, though. The tanks are not here. The tanks now landing fully in siege mode. More Ravagers and more Roaches throwing down that corrosive bile, landing on top of a bunch of the Marines. Roaches from the left side winning the day, but the right side completely owned by the Terrans. And all the Roaches end up dead. A GG from Firecake. Firecake is defeated. MMA is victorious. And Firecake has left the game. So again, I think it just came down to this final battle here. Firecake was not expecting to see all those Marines and Marauders streaming down from the north. I think he was trying to sneak over and kill this planetary fortress based on his attack pattern, but just too many Marines, too many Marauders. The upgrades were fantastic on those guys. I think he had +3/+3 on the way. Not sure if it was finished yet. And the tanks landing pretty much on top of everything. A couple of them did end up dead, but being able to +1 attack, splash damage their way on top of the Roaches was massively helpful. Not enough Ravagers on the right side to win that battle, and once these were dead, the rest of the bio units swung on down and ended the day there. So again, it's 129 to 137 total supply. Units tab shows 16 Roaches, 5 Ravagers against 30 Marines, 11 Marauders, and a tank. I don't know, that might have been a premature GG from Firecake. Losing this base was a big deal, however. If you look at the income tab, it was definitely in favor of the Terran. At that point, he had the Harvester lead, he had the income lead, and I think it might have just been a snowballed out of control there for our Zerg player, but in the end, he made the decision to tap out. MMA takes the win, and congratulations to our Terran player. So that's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching and supporting the channel, and you take care of yourself.